Peace, y'all. So today I want to talk about responsibility. What is our responsibility for being here on this earth plane? You know, incarnating on this earth plane at this time. Why are we here? And so one of the reasons we're here is to share information, to enlighten one another, to pass down knowledge. Cool. And then some people say we're here to experience life in human form, that we all are just fractions of God consciousness experiencing life in human form. Cool. While we're here, the goal is to rise in love, right? Because love is the highest energy. God is love. Most people I know want to make some kind of mark on this world, whether it's through music or politics or just inventing something, really cool. And most people want their name to be remembered. Most people want to do something huge and to be recognized. And that's all good. All of that is good. I want that too. I want to be remembered for doing something great. But it's like, what about the things that we could do every day on a daily basis? And what about the lives we could touch on a smaller scale? A lot of times I would always get discouraged, like, oh, I want to save the world, but I'm just one person. How am I going to save the world? How am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix that? I can't fix everything. And then I would just become depressed. And then a really, really, really wise friend of mine, she said to me, well, if you want to change the world, you got to change yourself, like Michael Jackson said. And that's valid because, life is like a trickle effect. If you do good, that'll be carried on. If I buy lunch for someone, they'll remember that and maybe they'll buy lunch for someone one day, you know? And just stuff like that. The smallest ripple could affect the entire wave. And so that leads me to my purpose of this video, which is we could be doing a lot more for humanity, for each other, on small scales. And I think it's the small scales that are really big. Like, so you want to be a public speaker, you want to help people, you want to motivate people. Well, you could start with the people in your community. And it could be so simple as just helping the troubled kid that doesn't have a father, or dropping knowledge on a young lady that doesn't have a good mother. I don't wait for people to ask me to do something, because I was raised with the energy that it takes a village to raise a child. So I had this one situation. This was probably like last year. One of my clients, her daughter was wilding, having sex with a lot of boys in the neighborhood, and just, wilding out, going real crazy and stuff. Just being a teenager, really. Um, Sometimes that's what they do. So, and when she told me that, I'm like, wow, and I know this little girl, I do her hair. I've known them for a minute. And I didn't ask the mother permission. Maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, but I didn't. And the next time the girl came to get her hair done, I didn't chastise her. I didn't scold her because I didn't want her to be offended. But I just kind of gently but sternly let her know that her actions are not acceptable behavior for a young lady, and that she needs really to switch it up and do what she got to do to be a better person. And she received it. And that was that. And we moved on. And it might have fixed it, it might not have. But the point is to plant a seed and to help where you can be of assistance. Don't always wait for someone to ask for your help because they might not ever ask. And don't talk shit about something that you're not willing to be of assistance for. You're so concerned about the youth and you're so concerned about why these kids out late. Well, and I'm talking to the hood dudes, I'm talking to the drug dealers, I'm talking to the real niggas, you know. Why don't you tell them to go in the house? You see they cutting up, not going to school. Won't you pull them aside real quick and school them? And then I know there's gonna be people like, oh well, kids these days, they real disrespectful, they might pop off at the lip. Okay. Then be like, all right, young blood, keep it pushing. Like, I don't know. Everybody's afraid to get involved. And I think that's where a lot of things is going wrong with society because no one wants to get involved. And we have to get involved. We have to get involved. Like, we are the ones we've been waiting for. There's no one coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to save each other. We have to hold ourselves accountable. And we have to hold each other accountable. So if you see someone in your circle, or if you have access to someone, if you could reach out to someone and share a few encouraging words and let them know that this ain't the way, young brother or young sister, you know, you should. I think Martin Luther King said something like, service to others is the rent that we pay to live here on this earth. And that's deep because it's like, well, what are you here for? What are you really here for if it's not to help? I mean, what are you really here for if it's not to help? Like, you're going to die soon. We're all going to die soon. And you want your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids to be good. I get that. But if the world ain't good, then nothing's good. How could you feel comfortable knowing your son is good, but somebody's son right across the street is not and is struggling, or because he don't have a dad? And I'm not asking you to, create a Hale house like Mother Hale did and take in all the kids and all the babies. I'm not saying all of that, but you know, it won't cost you much to next time you take your son to play basketball, you could bring a few of the neighborhood kids with you. Or next time you bring your son to Hershey Park or Busch Gardens, you bring a few of the neighborhood kids with you. Next time you out there working on your car with your son, you bring a few of the neighborhood kids with you. What would that hurt? It will enrich that child's life. And it will enrich your life as well. Because it feels good to do good. It feels good to help people. It feels good. It does. Like, that's some of the best moments I have when I'm pouring into people because I'm really pouring into myself. When I'm dropping knowledge and wisdom on people, I'm really reaffirming it to myself. And that feels good. It feels good to uplift someone. It feels good, man. It feels good to help someone. And you might not see it as much, but it is much. You come home from work and you bought something for your daughter, and you have to have something for your daughter's friend as well. I think we could all do a better job in taking care of one another. And it's up to us to lead the examples. You can't expect your children to be good adults if they haven't been given the examples. And, thank God, like a lot of people just come into the knowledge on their own, but some don't. It takes them a while to get there. It's really important that we uplift one another. If you see a problem, help. Nobody could live here alone. Nobody could survive completely on their own. If you see where you could fit in. At least try to be of assistance. Because we need it. We need it, man. Bless up.